Patreon.com/the Walk-Off Podcast. $4 a month gets you in there. Players report to camp. Spring is here. Spring has sprung. Joel's gone.
Oh God.
There you go. Back to the Blue Jays hat. Okay. This
It's a good
is
feeling.
this is exciting. There's not really much going on. Pitchers and catchers are there. They're starting to warm up. Position players join, I think, in another week or two. Except for
Some of them are there though.
Bo Bichette, notably.
Yeah, Vladdy's there.
There you go.
Bo's there giving hugs. My man.
Well, of course, he's
Put a
got
C on that guy. He's just
$6 million in the bank. He's a legitimate millionaire at this point. I'm just excited. I have nothing really to say about this other than
the first robin of spring. The groundhog didn't see his shadow.
The bird chirping outside your window.
Yeah,
this is it.
Spring is here, and I couldn't. All my off-season like skepticism and sadness and just being a pessimist kind of went away when I saw Ryu and Bo hugging, and I was just like, oh, baseball's here. Why be sad? Why get on this team when I don't know anything yet? So I'm just happy now. I like all of my, all of those feelings kind of just went away when I,
Hey, you're undefeated heading into opening day, right?
That beautiful new training facility they have. Oh man, it's
very good.
Giddy feelings.
Reports out of camp are going to start trickling out over the next few days, few weeks. I mean, I think the name on everybody's mind is Ricky Tiedemann, right? He is the highest expectation prospect who, like, the ceiling on him is Alek Manoah's rookie season, right? And if you're getting Alek Manoah's rookie season from Ricky Tiedemann, there's obvious reasons to be excited there, right? Wow, would that ever be a valuable win for the Blue Jays? Are expectations too high for Ricky? Like, should we be tempering our expectations, or are you all in?
If you're all in on this year being a World Series team, you have to be all in on him. If he's there giving you if the numbers say that he should be there, then you shouldn't be pulling your punches and trying to work service time or anything with Ricky Tiedemann. Like,
I agree on that 100%.
If it kind of shows we're now a team that's $15 million over the luxury tax. We're saying we're going for it, right? So there's no reason, if talent is there, to shift the needle, especially when we're talking about the fifth starting pitcher on this team. And if you're talking about a guy in Kikuchi who's coming out there and still popping 5 ERA as a starter, and you're having those real issues with that 5 spot, you've got this young kid who can come in, and to me, Manoah's rookie year is like, it's tough because this kid's so young, and we have this understanding of pitchers should be slowly brought up, and we're in a situation where he's not getting the innings that a normal kid would get just pitching to professional hitters, right? Like, the kid's got 90, 100 professional innings under his belt right now, something like that, 120, right? So the expectations on somebody who's pitched that much professionally should not be he's a major leaguer this year. But the way that these kids are coming up educated, they're a lot smarter than they used to be. Their training is insane. Their nutrition is at another level. So the only thing that I'm worried about is that he hasn't had the in-game reps, because he's kind of being brought up in a the
pitching lab.
The pitching lab, right? So it's this, his mechanics are getting focused on everything about, nailing every single pitch.
It's a controlled environment, right? Yes. It is pitch by pitch. You're on the Rapsodo. We got you in a pit, like in a batting cage. You're in a tunnel. You're throwing. We're analyzing and tweaking everything.
The numbers look good, but like, you still hope that they would get some reps in those moments, in the 6th inning, runners on 2nd and 3rd, stressful situation. You just threw 2 balls. You got to put a strike over the plate. It's those situations in game that are very, very hard to simulate, especially when you're pitching against a hitter that is very specific in how he hits. It's almost like a boxer trying to spar with a replicant of what he's going to face, which is so nearly impossible to do, right? How do
Right.
you train for Floyd Mayweather? So
That's a
it's
good analogy. That's a good analogy. He's hitting the heavy bag. We're measuring the strength of his punches. The numbers look good, but how is he punching when someone's punching back, right?
exactly. So I'm once again, I am all for pushing Tiedemann if the numbers say go for it. Which they all signs point to yes, but my only fear is that these kids coming up, they don't have those in-game reps that they used to have.
Okay. A couple points to point out here. Alek Manoah, 23 when he made his major league debut. Ricky Tiedemann is 20 years old right now. So it's 3 years of human development. Never mind
we were
professional development,
so shocked when
maturity,
Manoa
and all that.
taking it at
Yes.
23. Like we were just our jaws were on the floor when that first game in New York.
Now,
who is
that is not to say there isn't 20-year-old pitchers that make their MLB debut and thrive. And I'm sure the comment section will be filled with, hey, you guys forgot about this guy. What about this guy? He's proof that it can happen. Sure. I like the idea. Well, I don't know if I like the idea, but I agree with the idea that game situations, right? It's the sixth inning, your arm's starting to fatigue, you've got a base runner on, right? Hunkering down, digging deep, all that stuff, right? You can't get that out of a pitching lab, right? Um,
can't
even if you just,
simulate Yankee Stadium
you
and the
can't
pressure
simulate,
that's on you,
exactly,
right?
exactly. You can't simulate Aaron Judge at the dish. I wonder, and this is me being the like overly optimistic, probably recklessly optimistic. Usually I'm cautiously optimistic, but let's play recklessly optimistic for a second. Is there a chance that he comes in and is just, I don't know if it's naivete or ignorance, but there are examples of guys who, when they do come in, are just too young to even appreciate the pressure.
Mhm.
So it's literally not a factor. Like it's
Literally, for love of the game, is they send in the rookie who can't who's too young to understand the weight of the situation, that you're
right.
the 27th out in a perfect game in Yankee Stadium, right? They send up Ricky Stroud. He doesn't know the situation. Maybe he's just young enough to squeeze a base hit out, like exactly that, right? And that's totally a thing. And um
So that's going to be my half full stance on this,
sure. And
on the
whether it's
narrative that
that,
he doesn't have the game reps, he doesn't have enough innings pitched, or at pro ball, or any of these things, is that like maybe he'll just rise to the occasion because he doesn't even realize it's an occasion. You
yeah,
know, like
and with Manoa, do you feel like Manoa rose to the occasion because he wasn't ready? He didn't understand the occasion, or did he rise to the occasion because he was such a bulldog that he's going to rise to every occasion,
I
right?
think
So
I think he's
that's
bulldog.
right. So
Yeah.
that's a weird it's a weird situation where you're sitting there and you're watching his first few performances and you're like, wow, maybe he just doesn't understand the level that he's at, right? He doesn't understand
Yeah.
the circumstances that he's in. And then here we are, going into his third season now, and you don't feel that at all, right? So it's just that success may be him seeming like he's oblivious, but maybe he's just built for it, right? And we find that out, you know,
Look,
a little bit down
I
the road.
remember watching in Alek Manoah's rookie season the way he
We
pitched
all
in
do.
spring
We'll never
training.
forget that.
And it felt like even just when he was pitching against the Yankees in spring training and he was facing Aaron Judge, I just felt like this is a guy who like wants that challenge. Like he
Mhm.
is like, oh, this is Aaron Judge. This is my moment, right? Not, oh, this is Aaron Judge. I hope I don't mess up, right? Like it's the Tom Selleck Mr. Baseball quote, right? It's like, are you trying to hit the ball or are you just trying not to miss, right? And there's the psychological aspect of, and he struggled with this for the whole movie. Mr. Baseball, great old movie reference, by the way. But all off season and all season, reason he gets sent to Japan, right? He's struggling because he's in that moment and he's telling himself, don't miss, don't miss, don't miss. And then
Strike 4.
Strike 5, strike 7. Yeah.
Get back up here, Jack.
So, but then when that switch gets flicked to, he starts telling himself, okay, hit the ball, just hit the ball, right? And how significant from a psychological athleticism standpoint that is. And I think that's Alek Manoah, right? He's not like, oh, don't mess up, don't mess up. He's like, this is my chance. I'm gonna go get it. I'm gonna go get it. And he's hungry. And I hope that's what we get out of Ricky Tiedemann. We won't know, but I'm excited to see his first game against the Yankees in spring training. I'll be Googling highlights of that or finding a place to watch that for sure.
It makes me want Tiedemann and Manoah to spend a lot of time together, right? So that mentality can be passed on. Like, hey, I did it and I wasn't afraid, man. You got to come up here with what's Crash Davis say? You got to play with arrogance, and I forget what it is, but it's that idea that you got to come up thinking that you're the absolute hot shit, and that's what you saw with Manoah in Yankee Stadium, man, throwing 96 to Judge, but it seemed like it was 106, and he was spinning around like a top, unable to hit that stuff. That's
just crumpled
confidence. And if Ricky Tiedemann comes up and he's that guy, Jays are looking pretty good.
All right. Well, we've gone long on this episode already, so we're going to wrap it up here, and then we're going to say our goodbyes, and then we're going to talk this super secret Patreon project. We'll just leave that for the Patreon. So if you're curious what we're talking about, join the Patreon, $4 a month, patreon.com/walkoffpodcast.
Worth it.
Okay. Joel, thank you so much for your time today, talking Moneyball, deep dive in some stupid advanced stats. Always enjoy talking to you.
Up the off season, right? Just getting those last bit of baseball talk is like, we'll actually have stuff to talk about in like a week or two here. So,
it's
no more fill-in time with nonsense.
No more fill-in time, but this has been good. You've helped us do it. Couldn't have done it without you. So also to Garth and to Craig, who are not here today. Scott returns Friday, so we're back to normal. But Joel, I'll say to you and Garth and Craig, when you see this is also directed at you. Thank you so much for all of your efforts over the course of the last few weeks to help fill in and keep this content coming so that I didn't have to just speculate on Twitter rumors the whole time. Appreciate you, buddy.
Absolute pleasure. I love coming on. On this show.
And everybody else watching, roast us in the comments, roast my new haircut, or give me a compliment because it's my birthday. So, okay, appreciate you. We'll catch you all in the next one. Cheers, and have a good one, Dad.